Hey guys, welcome to The Zone. My name is JM, and on The Zone we discuss about things that can help build our spiritual life as Christians. Just so you know, I'm not the pastor, I'm not the pastor's wife, I don't have pastors as my relatives. I'm just that church girl that spends time studying the Bible, have friends that I discuss the Bible with. I'm pretty much just in love with sharing what I understand about the Bible and how best we can build our Christian life. So if some part of this video annoys you or gets you angry or gets you confused at some point, I always point us back to the Bible verse and chapter that I'm getting this inspiration from. And do well to leave comments in the comment section if you've gotten more conviction about the topic or you still want to share more with everyone in the community. This episode was inspired by one of my very good friend. Now, I promised them I'm not going to mention their name on the podcast, but they pretty much have a way of, having Bible conversations with me, their understanding and perspective of the Bible. And we have this chit chat and I pretty much learn so much and they learn so much from me too. So I told them that, what? Our next episode is going to be about this conversation that we've had, and here we are today. So we had this discussion the other day about the difference between important and urgent. Now, they were asking me, do I think we should do what is more important than what is urgent? And they were coming from the perspective of Jesus Christ. So we're pretty much just going to be talking about how Jesus, did what was important as against what was urgent. Now, I pray that at the end of this podcast, we'll be able to learn one or two things and, apply that moving forward in our day-to-day activity. Again, let's define important and urgent. Important is something of high significant value. So something that is valuable, something that is placed on a high rank, something that has a high status. While urgent is something that is of immediate attention or action. It's something that you need to do right now. Now you see that it doesn't have the word value in it. Something can be urgent but not important. It's just urgent because you need to do it now doesn't mean that it has significant value. Whereas something being important might not be urgent. So sometimes it could be a long-term goal that we trap under the word important, and short-term goal that we put under urgent. But that urgent thing, is it really important? Pretty much, let's talk about the book of Mark. So Mark chapter 1 from verse 24 all the way down to 35, 36, it was talking about Jesus going to Galilee. Now, the people in Galilee heard the story that Jesus was coming. So everyone was like, that guy is coming, that guy that heals the sick. If you were in those days, you pretty much would be excited that Jesus is coming because of all of the signs and wonders you've heard about Jesus. So, they were obviously happy. Now, Jesus gets to Galilee, like the outer part of Galilee, because he was going to preach the gospel all through Galilee, right? So he goes to a certain part of Galilee and he just goes out of the synagogue, and then Simon comes and say, guy, my mother-in-law is not feeling too well, please come pray for her so she can get better. He rushes with Simon, went to pray for the mother-in-law and she got better. And then he saw some guys that were possessed by a demon, prayed for them and told them, shh, don't tell anybody, because I really don't want people to know that I've actually gotten to Galilee, because he did not want to be distracted. Now, let's talk about distraction. Distraction is one factor that can take you away from doing what is important. Follow this story as I'm narrating it because you understand how Jesus chose important as against urgent. Now, if you go all the way down to 35, verse 35, Jesus went up to the mountain and, and he was praying as usual. And then the disciples are like, where is this guy? People need this guy. This guy needs to come and, do his miracles. And they went up to the mountain and like, guy, people need you. People are waiting to see you. Everybody's looking for you. And he's like, let's go to the nearby village. I came here to preach the gospel. This is why I came. We came here to preach the gospel. Preaching the gospel was more important for Jesus. Even though healing the sick, raising the dead, turning water to wine, or doing whatever miracle that there was available at that time was urgent, the most important thing for Jesus at that time was preaching the gospel. And he did not even allow his excited disciples that were already distracted from the goal, he did not allow them distract him. He said, you know what, let's go to the nearby village. I came here to preach gospel, make fishers of men. We are going to do that now. That's one instance where Jesus chose what was important against what was urgent. Let me take us down to the story of Lazarus. I feel like the account of Jesus and, his relationship with Lazarus was not fully, described in the Bible. For Jesus to have wept that much, it means that Lazarus was his guy. Like Lazarus was his pal. Lazarus was his lad. Lazarus was that guy. And for Jesus, at that point when Lazarus was sick, if we want to look at it from human perspective, the most urgent thing at that time was for Jesus to go to Lazarus, touch him and heal him. But Jesus did not go. His sister sent message to Jesus. My brother is sick. Jesus did not come. My brother is dead. Jesus did not come. And what did he do? He wept. That's the first time we saw Jesus wept in the Bible. The difference between weeping and crying is quite enormous. When you cry, you can cry for joy. You can just get too excited and start crying. But when you weep, it's like a deep agony in your stomach, a deep pain, that is a deep emotion. It's so deep, and then you are weeping. Sometimes some people weep and not even make sound, but they're shivering, shaking. I don't know how to do this example, but you know what I mean by weep. Jesus wept. From my understanding, there are two factors as to why Jesus wept. One, his guy had died. His bestie had died. Lazarus was his guy and his guy had died. Two, he could not do anything about it at that point because that was not what was important. Healing Lazarus was not important. Raising Lazarus from the dead was important. So Jesus had to calm down and wait through that process until when it was the appointed time for him to go and say, Lazarus, comfort. The siblings did not understand. I'm pretty sure his disciples were like, who is this guy? Why are you acting? Sometimes you act so good and then sometimes you act like you're a bad guy. You act all good and holy and then sometimes you are heartless and all of that. They would have seen Jesus as being heartless. For example, you have a bestie and you are very, very rich and your bestie needs money for operation, for a surgery. Let's say kidney transplant. And your bestie needs, let's say $20,000. And you have more than that. His family know you do. Your friends in the circle know you are the richest friend. But they call you and they say, we need $10,000 or $20,000. And you don't answer them. Do you know how your friends will think about you? They'll think you're a bad person. You're a wicked person. This person is selfish. This person is wicked. Imagine you call them my friend. I'm just wondering how sad, how angry Lazarus' sisters was at Jesus. Like, this is your bestie. You left him to die. And you're coming 4 days after to come and do what? Coming with your guys to come and do what? I just sometimes think about how it looked like to Jesus, how difficult that was for him. He wept because there's so much he would have done. Just go and touch the guy and wake up. But he had to wait for the most important thing, which was raising Lazarus up on the 4th day. Lazarus had to die. He did not go for the burial. He didn't go the day after. He didn't go the 2nd day after. He had to wait to do what was important, what his father, had told him was important. Now, this is another instance of Jesus putting his gaze at what is important and not at what is urgent. Another instance where we see Jesus gazing at what was important was, when he was about to die. When he went up to the mountain and, he was sad. He was filled with pain and he just, can you just take this cup? It was too much, just take this thing. At that point in time, Jesus knew that the most important thing was going through that process. But he pretty much, the flesh in him wanted to just find a way to just escape it. Sometimes, right, we know what's important. We know what we need to do. But because doing what's important is difficult as humans, we want to try and see how well we can minimize the stress of doing what's important. Sometimes we're like, I'm not sure I can do these things, too much. It's demanding. I have to study this book just because I need to get a PhD. No, I'm not doing this. I have to travel to another country just because Christ said, oh, my destiny is somewhere else. No, I'm not doing it. Do you know what it means? I have to save up money, fly to another country. I don't have siblings. I don't know anybody. I have to get married at this point because of this. I have to do this because this is important. Some important decisions would take so much from us, and the flesh in us will fight us. But it's left for us, to put ourselves in the position where Jesus was, and he said, if this is your will, so shall it be. So shall it be. Say your will is for me to die for these people. Fine, I'll do it. There are times that we just look at that task and you'll be like, this is important. It's going to take so much from me, but I'll do it. When I was studying this for this podcast, right, I just looked at my life at how my life has grown up till now, and how relocating from where my family were to another country where I did not know anybody. It was important, but it was a difficult decision to make. So many times I had pushed that important decision away, but when God said, it is time, I went through all the phases of meltdown. I went through all the phases of disagreeing. I said, I'm not doing this thing. But here there is, this is important for the journey I have for your head. You need to go over to this side. And it just made me understand that some of us really might be in this position where you need to make an important decision, but you're confused. And the enemy will bring distractions. You bring the distractions of things that are urgent, that are not really, really urgent. When I was having that conversation with my friend, he said that things that are urgent, but are not important. And there are things that are important that are urgent. There are things that are important that are not urgent. The things that are urgent and important. So it's left for you to prioritize and sort out what is urgent, what is important. This thing that seems urgent, is it really important? Or does it look so urgent and important because everyone said it is? I hope that pretty much we would be able to, understand the difference. And as we make life decisions as Christians, we'll just look back at, Jesus' lifestyle and be like, I just want to adopt, his understanding of importance and urgency. So if you have, more conviction, you've read this book before, you've read this verse, a chapter before, and you understand it, you send it, but please leave a comment in the comment section. Like I said, I'm not a pastor. If you think I went wrong as a boy, just leave all the comments in the comment section, because I pretty much want to see all of the comments. But then, until next episode, when I see you guys again, God bless you.